Southern Soul ATL FM, Magnetic Capital. This new administration is rolling back all types of rules. You already saw many other rules that were rolled back, but now they're rolling back the laws that ban segregation. They're trying to go back and take all those laws, all that progress from the civil rights movement, and disband it and disbar it, and allow you to be, and this will allow people to be segregated. They've already taken laws back where people can refuse service to people they don't want to serve. Right now, today, you can refuse service if you want. You can refuse service if you want. You can refuse to serve someone in your business because of whatever reason. So you can reserve that right for yourself today. So they're moving back all these laws. And the strangest thing about it is black people are ready. Black people are so happy. If you look on social media, a lot of black people are super excited about this. But I have somebody who lived through a part of desegregation. EZP
Backbeats. It's so good to be back again. And you're right. I lived through integration, segregation. I'm one of the few people that can actually say that my mother took me to a theater in Midtown St. Louis, and it was amongst the beginnings of the melanated community in St. Louis, Missouri, to be able to go to the Fox Theater. Fox Theater is located on a Midtown street by the name of Grand Avenue in St. Louis, Missouri. And when I was about 8 or 9, my mother took me to the Fox because it had finally been opened as a result of integration. We were segregated in the community, and the reason why we were segregated is because we were not liked in terms of our reality. Many people come from my era don't talk about integration and segregation because when they were children, their mother took them to the greatest spot that they could be integrated to, and we thought it was exciting to be integrated amongst the dominant society community. We just were so excited. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread to be able to go where we weren't able to go. Now, the backside of this, Backbeats, is prior to integration, we had more businesses. We had more opportunities to fend for self. We had more opportunities to look after one another because we couldn't go to the dominant society places. So therefore, we had to create our own environment, create our own barbershops, create our own banks in Oklahoma, create our own businesses where we built cars, create in the 20s and the 30s. We did all that during Jim Crow because we were alleviated from the dominant society. They wouldn't allow us to congregate. And so separate but equal is what most of the people are saying today. Most people in the 30s, 40s, 50s years of age are going, hey, let's separate. I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, by the way. And the biggest proponent from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for self-determination for the melanated community was to formulate our own community and to separate ourselves. And now it is it seems as though the younger community in their 30s or in their 40s, in their 50s, they're saying, hey, segregate, put up the signs, say no blacks allowed, because they don't want to go where they're not welcome. They don't want to spend their money where their money is not appreciated. And so that is the going trend for the younger demographic here in America right now. Is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying, that was the best medicine in the 70s. He was saying that in the 60s. He was saying that before anybody, before it was in vogue. It's in vogue now. It's in vogue. And so we're at this crossroads right now. And so we need self-determination. If we do separate on the way that most people are saying right now, we have to make sure we have equal opportunity in terms of being able to create wealth, be able to adhere to fiduciary institutions so that we can create security in this environment so we're not burned down like we did during Tulsa. We were vulnerable. We had institutions of learning, institutions of finance, institutions of legality, institutions of business, but they burned the whole city down. So we have to ensure that we don't get in a situation where we get burned down, Backbeats.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I was starting to think about as soon as they started mentioning bringing back segregation back. And it made me think that the people who were so happy about this idea weren't really thinking this through all the way. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, I hope y'all don't think that y'all tax dollars are going to your own neighborhood, do y'all, after segregation, because that's a part of what segregation was. You do know that they're going to segregate you from every economic opportunity, from all your tax dollars, all your land, and right now you don't own most of the land that you live on. So you think they're going to let you just buy it up after segregation? What do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to just? You think they're going to just let you be how you are? And they're not going to call it segregation. They're going to call it supporting the states. No, they're going to call it respecting the state's wishes. That's what they're going to call it, and respecting the states and counties' wishes, and respecting the state's values. So alongside segregation, you're also going to get a brand new school voucher system. That means the schools can charge whatever they want. And so if the schools can charge whatever they want, then that means the only school that y'all kids is going to be able to go to is going to be the worst one, because they're going to be the one that can't afford to charge more, because they're going to have a voucher. You're going to be able to take a voucher from the government and give it to the school, but the school can charge more than the voucher pays for. So that means the kids with the parents with the money are going to be able to buy a better education in the public system. Now, you can already do that in the public sector, in the private sector for education, but not so much in the public. Now, if you let the school voucher system happen plus segregation, you're going to have your kids in a school with 50 or 60 people in it per class. So if on top of that, I forgot to tell y'all this. I picked up an Atlanta Business Chronicle in 2012, and I read an article about how the students were being passed out ARM computers and Raspberry Pis. If you don't know what those are little small computers. Those are little small computers about the size of a cell phone. But they can be very powerful, and they teach kids how to learn computers. So they were passing those out to the students in 2012 in Sandy Springs. If you don't know what Sandy Springs is in Georgia, it's the more affluent area of Atlanta. A lot of your favorite stars live up there. So in 2012, they were getting computers passed out to them in public school. That never happened in DeKalb, where I went to school, or in Atlanta, public schools in APS. In Atlanta Public School District, that hasn't happened yet, I don't think. Maybe in one or two schools, but not in most of them, right? So we're already decades behind on education. So, and I hear a lot of y'all talking about the state of education. We need something to do with education. We need to homeschool our kids. If black people can't get along long enough, barely long enough to make the kid, who's going to educate? Who's going to educate the kid if y'all separated? It's literally thousands of black content creators that are talking about how bad the opposite sex is. I see it every time I open my socials. So we don't patrol the neighborhood yet, and we don't arm ourselves adequately yet. So a lot of people are afraid of the young guys. Y'all call them YNs. I don't need to spell that abbreviation out. So today, y'all gonna need help with the YNs, and y'all are gonna ask for help from the police. And when the police help you, they're gonna over surveil you, over police you, and over monitor you. And that's just the part when you ask for help. They're still gonna be in your neighborhood. They're still gonna be police in your neighborhood, because segregation never stopped them from coming to your spaces. Segregation just stops you from coming to theirs. They're not gonna segregate themselves from your spaces. They're not going to segregate themselves and stop themselves from coming to you. They're just stopping you from coming to them and taking the opportunity with them. So 30 to 40% of state and federal workers are black people. So do you think you're still going to have those jobs after segregation? Do you think you're still going to get jobs after segregation? Because if segregation is allowed, then they can go ahead and not hire y'all if they don't want to. So what do you think you're going to be doing to survive? They're going to have you picking tomatoes and cleaning hotel rooms like they had the Mexicans doing for a very long time, and paying them unfairly. And they're going to be paying y'all like that too. They didn't pay those people anything, next to nothing. They got took advantage of. So do you think that they're going to allow the rich black people who live in white neighborhoods to sell their property? Or are they going to run them off the land and run them off of their investment? Or if they're getting kicked out, you think they're going to buy it at a fair price? They're not going to let you sell it at a fair price. They're going to kick you out. Oh, and we always talking about what's going to happen when the community gets rich. Oh, we're going to be much more prosperous. Right, you probably are. So what do you think is going to happen when the community becomes successful? What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're just going to sit back and let you have it? And sit back and, oh, I can hear y'all now. Oh, it ain't going to happen like this time. Oh, no, we ain't our ancestors, which is so disrespectful. You're right. You aren't your ancestors, because the ancestors had men who knew how to hunt, build things, and defend themselves, and women who worked all day, sewed, healed their family, nurtured their family, and didn't worry about what was going on outside of it, and just took care of their family. And what they don't tell y'all in the documentaries and in the short flicks is that during Tulsa, a lot of the mobs were being wet up. They were being hit. They were being unalived. They would kick down people's doors and they were getting hit because those people were armed. Tulsa was full of World War I veterans. A lot of those guys knew how to use the guns and were ready to use them. So the only way this happened was they ran to the airfields, to the military bases, and got air superiority and dropped bombs. That's the only way that they destroyed that community, because they couldn't destroy it on the ground. They were losing on the ground. But this time, they don't need military planes to do this, because they have drones now that can be outfitted with weapons that are available to the public right now. And while we're talking about weapons, who's going to make y'all's weapons? Did y'all think about that? Because if segregation happens, then the gun and drone weapon manufacturers, if they want to, they can essentially turn down your purchase and not sell to you. Who's going to make y'all weapons? And on top of that, it's a lot of other stuff that we got to talk about as well. We talk about the biggest mistake that we made was integration. That's not really true. The biggest mistake we ever made is shooting ourselves up in women that we didn't want to be with and didn't want to marry and leaving the kids defenseless. That's the biggest mistake we ever made. The biggest mistake we ever made was abandoning businesses that provided the spaces that we yearned for so much in favor of somebody who hated to have us in their business. The worst mistake that we ever made was not continually building and not making what we're describing now a reality this entire time. There's no way we should have waited for segregation to support each other. A lot of these businesses that we support now don't like us, and we know they don't, and we stay in them. We can't stay out of Chick-fil-A for 5 minutes. We're more upset about a gratuity charge from black restaurants than we are Chick-fil-A wearing back to blue shirts when George Floyd got taken away from us. When George Floyd got taken away from us, they wore back to blue shirts when the protest started. And we're more upset about a gratuity charge on black restaurants than we are about them literally stepping on us. That's the biggest mistake we ever made, is not holding our family together and abandoning the business that served us.
Well, I think that was very well said, Backbeats. I mean, you covered a gamut. And family, if you're getting something out of this video right now, hit the like button so that the algorithm can go to other places so that people understand and can share this information, because it's very important. You've got two accounts, one account with a person that lived in integration, a person right now that is living the integration experience from the guys of 20s, 30s, and early 40s. So you are getting the information, and we're going to give you even more information on the Southern Soul Academy, where you can learn consumer advocacy with entertainment agreements for our Southern Soul performers. That is forthcoming. That's what we're going to do in our community to help heighten the awareness of agreements and contracts so that you can implement to your advantage in your community. And so I think Backbeats was spot on, right on. Hit that like button and share. Tune in. The radio Southern Soul ATL FM.com, Backbeats.
That's right. And let me say one more time, the biggest mistake we ever made was being around and laying up on women that we didn't plan on being with and leaving the kids defenseless. We got too many of us that are defenseless that can't learn from you because they don't know you and they're not around you. That's the biggest mistake we ever made, not integration. So until then, until all this happens, we need to support the businesses that offer us the spaces. And we need to create more of them ourselves and stay away from people who don't serve us. Until we stay away from this, it's going to be the same thing. So, get your paper and keep your money where it belongs. We out!